I'm Gene Grant, here with our special panel of local leaders who are covering the issue for local media advocating for pedestrian and cyclist safety and working to make the city safer for everyone on the road. And we've now seen the rest of Earl Gage's story. He survived a very serious crash where he's back on his bike, doesn't feel comfortable riding on the road. I think we can all relate to where this young man's coming from.
Absolutely.
When someone has an incident, do you at Bike ABQ recommend a certain type of, I don't know, I don't want to say rehab, but there's a mental process that has to happen, I would imagine, if you've had a close call or an accident to get back on a bike. Talk about that a little bit. It takes a little something extra to do that, it seems to me.
Well, it does, and there's support network. People talking with each other, putting them in touch with other cyclists. It's a difficult time. It's a scary time. The rehab, the physical rehab, there's obviously sources out there for that, but the mental rehab, it comes from groups helping each other. And sometimes you can't get over that. Maybe it'll take a lot of years.
But it is part of being a tribe, isn't it? Part of being in a community for bikers here in Albuquerque.
Well, there's a big community here, you know, covering a lot of different areas, not just riding on the streets. Mountain biking. This is a wonderful city for cycling.
I agree. Besides the weather, it's a great place for cycling. Melissa, I want to peel back to something you mentioned in our last segment. We started to talk about MLK and some of the improvements there. There's other things I know the city's trying to look at, sidewalks and some other things. Tell us about just the overall picture. When you look at the city overall, and you try to make your determinations of who needs help and what intersections need help, what do you look for first, beyond the numbers for fatalities and accidents? Do you look at the future and say, well, maybe 10 years from now, this is going to be a wonderful biking area? Do you guys think in that process as well?
We do. We do look in the future. But, you know, for the most part, we look at every facility as an opportunity to provide multimodal improvements. So we look at it from that standpoint. We have our complete streets ordinance, which, you know, identifies bicycling and pedestrian and vehicles and the bus system as part of that network. So
now that ordinance, let me stop there for a second. What does that in fact do? Does that require builders and developers to follow certain criteria to make sure things are part of the process for helping bikers and pedestrians, or is that just the city?
For the most part, it's a legislation that was passed for DMD to look at where are there potential opportunities to improve our facilities. So we're looking at either existing infrastructure or new infrastructure that, you know, we're looking at building. So it's looking at providing wider bike lanes, wider sidewalks, and giving the cyclists the ability to be seen as a motor vehicle, because that's what they're considered in the state, is, you know, they can take the lane. But we want to provide them the facilities where, you know, if they come up to an intersection, they have bike loops which will detect them and as a vehicle, and they can signal the traffic light to change.
Wait, time out there. I think, remember that in the documentary. That's interesting. Explain that technology again. You can read a bicyclist as a car if it's just sitting there at the light.
Right.
And the light can actually, okay.
Yeah, so over the years, we've heard from many cyclists that, you know, they come up to a light, whether it's early in the morning, late at night, or, you know, there's just not a lot of traffic on a road where they don't get detected. So they sit there and they wait, and at some point they decide, you know, I can't wait any longer, I'm going to go.
That's right.
So we've looked at the technology of bike loops to implement in the bike lanes, and we'll designate where they need to stop so that they can be detected, just as a vehicle. So they'll come up, and if they're the only vehicle in the road, they'll be detected and get the green light to move on.
How fun. Interesting. Again, you're reporting at KUNM, UNED, Marisa DeMarco. Interesting, we talked a little bit about the lack of sidewalks in some areas, but there's also some good news that Ed reported, a wonderful project going on that's going to loop some folks in the South Valley to a nature center. It's fabulous,
Yeah, so there's the Valle de Oro Reserve. So the feds are actually going to build the sidewalk that's missing on this particular portion of 2nd Street out to the reserve, and then the county is extending it a little further as well. And so that's really going to help down there. But I think when we're talking about these issues, we can't lose sight of the infrastructure issues that are all over the state. And I think, you know, pedestrian fatalities are twice as high in low-income neighborhoods all over the country. That's just true. And also that we have the highest pedestrian fatality rate right now in New Mexico, and we're one of the poorest states in the country. So there's a lot that's kind of missing from the picture of people being able to walk and bike and commute all over the state. So it's great that in the South Valley they're getting that strip of sidewalks. I'm sure it's going to help a lot of the families there, but I'm sure that there are also communities that are dealing with those issues all over the place.
There's a lot of need out there, it seems to me. I seem to remember when I was on the Huning Highland Neighborhood Association board, we had a lot of needs for sidewalk, and we were always told to get in line. Because there's a lot of folks asking for sidewalk improvements all over the city. And we understand that's not unlimited money, but in your reporting, do you have a sense there's a prioritization happening right now for certain things, or is it just a, sort of an ad hoc approach in some ways?
What I thought was interesting in my reporting is that folks are trying to look at low-cost ways to improve the situation. So maybe there are some things that can happen that aren't going to cost a bunch of additional money that can make it so that it's safer for people to be out there. And that's kind of what I think the city and the state is going to have to do moving forward in some ways, because there's such tight budgets all over the place.
Right. Dawn, on the bikers' end of the world, you and I, there are things that we should be doing too. I'm amazed the amount of bikes I see out there without safety lights. I'm amazed by that. After dark.
After dark.
And with a dark t-shirt, no helmet. I mean, maybe I'm just an old man. I like to stay safe. I like to stay upright.
Right. It's
My bike is loaded. I'm sorry. I need people to see me. What's your sense of that?
Well, it's almost like that idea of, if they can't hit me if they can't see me.
Gotcha.
And it's just a weird notion. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, okay, I kind of get that, but I'm generally like, it's the law, right? You have to have a light, and but I want to be seen. I feel like I'm a bigger person on a bike, so I'm not a small guy.
Did you traditionally wear a vest, a safety vest, orange? Okay. Okay. Why not?
Just generally because I feel like I have a bigger presence,
Gotcha.
When I'm biking than I do in general life. I feel like, and I'm making eye contact with drivers all the time. I'm making sure they totally see me,
How important is that?
I think that's pretty important. I
Yeah.
think and I'm trying to anticipate what they're doing. I'm like, that guy might, even though the light is changing, I'm gonna wait and make sure everybody's through made that left turn before I go. I'm gonna make sure this guy could possibly turn right, so I'm not gonna pull right next to him. I may wait a little bit and give him a chance. And I feel like it's definitely anticipating what the driver's is going to do.
That's right. And as we saw on the dock, even making hand signals, letting the driver know what you want to do as a biker, or saying to the driver, sort of in hand signals, you do what you want to do. I'll just, as Dawn just mentioned, I'll just sit here and wait. So for your group, how important is that to establish? Do you teach folks that eye contact, and that's how the big part of safety for bikers as well?
It is. It is indeed a big part of safety. Be there. Be present. Make sure they see you. Make sure that you do interact with them. I don't know. Getting that connection changes things.
Right.
It's not just a disconnect anymore. I personally find that works wonderfully. People are more considerate. Maybe they are in a hurry, but they'll slow down a little bit. But when everybody stays in their own little worlds and disconnected, it's not the same. But making contact is important. Signaling your intent, not being disrespectful, as in everybody else is at a stoplight and you're going to blow through. That doesn't set a good example. But by being a responsible cyclist, by being present, it does make a difference. And it is safer. Having your lights, very important.
Are you an advocate for using those lights even in the daytime when you ride?
I'm not.
Okay. I know some are.
There's different schools of thought on that. On a cloudy day, yeah, it can help because that visibility, but it also helps with the motorist. Being seen is important.
Right. Interesting there, right. And so going back to the city and your efforts there on all these regards, I mean, we all have a bit to play here as cyclists, as walkers, as moped drivers, as, whatever it is. I'm just want to get a fix on where the city fits into this. There's only so much you can do, and then the public has to take it from there, it seems to me, right? As long as you do your bit, we have to take it from that part.
Right. Obviously, we want to invest in the infrastructure so that there is an enhanced experience, comfortable experience for the people utilizing our facilities. We're also looking at providing more public outreach. We have information on our website of the new treatments that will be implemented for Martin Luther King in particular. We have a description of the project. We have the bike loops on there. We have the green paint. We have the bike boxes explaining how drivers and bicyclists should be utilizing these facilities. So I think, just getting the information out there is important from our standpoint. We also share it with the local cyclists and the organizations as well. So, for us, it's obviously improving the infrastructure, but also providing that education.
I've often wondered if a bike in would be part of the solution here. Just get big masses of bicycles at some point, at some event, some weekend that the city probably could help out with. Again, just to get the idea out there that we're here, we're out there, we're walking, we're biking, we're on motorcycles, we're on whatever, just to get that whole thing lifted. Is that a possibility? You think the city might be interested in something?
That's an idea. I mean, that definitely is an idea. I mean, we want to reach out to as many people as we can.
Yeah.
You know, and anyone that's utilizing our facilities, we want to make sure that they understand how they operate.
Yeah. I can't thank you guys enough. This is an important subject. Folks are out there trying to live a good quality of life here in Albuquerque, and things like safety issues are impactful of that. And so I appreciate all your efforts there for that. That's all the time we have. We thank you for being here to talk about pedestrian and cyclist safety this week. Now, we posted links to resources and more information on our website. That would be newmexicoinfocus.org. All right. I'm Gene Grant. Thanks for joining us this week for New Mexico in Focus. As always, we appreciate your time and effort to stay informed and engaged. We'll see you next week in Focus. Get a preview of what's coming up on the next New Mexico in Focus. It's easy. Sign up for our weekly email at newmexicoinfocus.org.
Funding for New Mexico in Focus provided by the McCune Charitable Foundation and the Nalita E. Walker Fund for KNME-TV, the KNME-TV Endowment Fund, and viewers like you.